Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today we are delving way back in time, nearly 100 years to be precise. To,
99 years ago.
yes, this movie next year will be 100 years old. We are in the silent movie era. We are going to be talking The Phantom of the Opera from 1925, starring the one and only man of a thousand faces, Lon Chaney, Lon Chaney Senior. Um, I think everybody knows the tale of the Phantom. It's this movie's been done many, many times. Even the musical, the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, is so successful. We say we've gone back in time to this silent movie. So I'm going to go over to Susan for her opening thoughts on the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, well, it is a really well-known story by Gaston Leroux. Apparently, he was obsessed with a pretty singer, and he tried to write a story to really, bring home the fact that she was the best singer in Paris, and that, you know, that it was probably okay if he just stalked her, and kidnapped her and stuff. And this story grew out of that. And there was a there was a sense that this was really romantic, and nobody made it quite as romantic as Andrew Lloyd Webber, of course.
Yeah,
But that was deeply emotional, and they did do a movie of it a few years, ago, and it's great. But there's also a wonderful. This is a wonderful version of it. It's silent, and there aren't as many inter intercut descriptive frames as there are in many other silent movies, which is interesting because I guess it's just really understandable.
hmm
You kind of get the whole story, even if you haven't read the book. That's just a really interesting part of that, is that, um, yeah, there just aren't as many descriptive panels, descriptive inner cuts. And I watched it once in color and once in black and white, and the one in color was strangely in color, like big color blocks and strange wipes of color. I just liked it. But I really enjoyed the black and white version as well. I mean, the all the stuff in the catacombs, the crypts was really, really atmospheric and really fun. I mean, these great vaulted ceilings in the catacombs. I mean, like almost as high as the ceiling is in the theater above. So it's almost like you've got like 4 stories of 4-story uh, lofts, one on top of the other, or 4-story stages, one on top of the other. And that was really interesting. And yeah, you could definitely feel the difference between Cosette and Christine, or I'm not Cosette. What was her name? Her name was um, Carlotta. Sorry, Cosette was from the one uh, Les Miserables. I'm sorry, but Carlotta is the other singer who apparently, even after the Phantom demanded that Christine sing, Carlotta was she had to understudy Carlotta. And I mean, So first of all, she's got a lot of like um she's pretty humiliated, humbled, whatever. And then she's all of a sudden, you know, the Phantom is promising life eternal for her. She just sings with him down the, anyway. It's really, and I was just wondering when they were going to rise up and go out into the world. But there was I don't know, there's kind of like a subtle class warfare thing going on, and there was a lot of like subtlety to this that was really interesting, and also it was a little bit of propaganda because the police, the gendarme was you know, or the the aristocracy had its its champions that were taking that were trying to take out the Phantom. Anyway, it's interesting.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so just so much like so much of the story is beautiful and tragic, and so much of the story is like really cringe for a modern watcher. But what are you gonna do? These things are a century old, 99 years old. So
Mhm.
anyway, Lee, what were your opening thoughts about this movie?
Well, to begin with, there's about four different versions of this movie, different edits, and
Yeah.
roughly running about the same time, give or take 10 minutes here and there. Um, the version I watched this week was the not so colorized ones, but the with the red tinted screens or the blue
Uh,
tinted screen,
yeah, that was one of
which
the
sort
ones
of
that
added.
I watched.
Yeah, it added more atmosphere to it. I think. Okay, I love black and white movies, but that one sort of this the color added something to it. Um, it also took away the graininess of the old film, so
Mhm.
you didn't get distracted by the graininess of it all. Yeah, you've got to give a big thumbs up to Lon Chaney Senior. Um, he, in my opinion, was the creator of what we know today as the prosthetics, movie makeup. He did his own makeup. He did because before then there wasn't much in changing your facial features on screen.
Right.
Um, he did it all. He played the Phantom. He played the Hunchback of Notre Dame. All these freak like people, but with disfigurements in the facial features, where he just took his makeup box and did his magic. Um,
Oh,
I say
cool.
without him, I don't think the industry, the makeup industry in movies, would be as good. Um,
Good point.
he pushed the boundaries, in my opinion. Um, yes, he was a silent movie star, but his performance in it is even through the makeup he wore for the Phantom, the features came through. You saw the emotions, you saw the hatred, you saw everything just through the facial features. Um, what makeup, you got the description of the Phantom from one of the other characters, like a skeletal face, no nose, bones poking through the thin skin, and you got it all. You got that all in that makeup. Um, yeah, he's one of the best, I would say, in the horror genre of back then.
Yeah.
Um, and as you've said, the scenery, there, it looked like there
Oh
was
my
no extra.
gosh.
Um,
I know. It's like amazing.
but it just reminded me of, well, this was 1925. In 1931, when they did Dracula with Bela Lugosi, that grand staircase.
Oh
That was,
yeah.
yeah, they knew how to build sets, and they did it here. It was amazing. You know, the old dungeons down in the cellars, and even the waterways down there with his little gondola thing.
Hmm.
Uh, Amazing. And
But
also, as
the soaring, even in the sewer, which the
yeah,
gondola was supposedly like in the sewer, the ceiling above the sewer was like 4 stories high.
well, yeah, because
I
you have that scene when he put well, what's her face, what's her name, Coletta, um, on the back of a horse,
uh-huh.
and he walked with the horse while she was on the back of it, succumbed, hypnotized or whatever he did, um, going round and round and down this like walkway. So
Uh-huh.
that must have been, how'd you say, a 5 story high, 4 story high,
I know. So
and then
amazing.
they got to the gondola with all the water. An
Right?
amazing set.
Oh my gosh.
And
It
also
was
as well,
incredible.
every villain needs a good hideout with all these levers and things what do, trapdoors here and alarm bells there, and the Phantom had it all. And of course
Yep.
he had his huge pipe organ. But
And
yeah, it's a.
yes.
I mean, everybody knows the story of the way he falls in love with a woman, wants her to become the greatest opera singer, but he wants her for himself. Um, I mean, this story of the Phantom of the Opera has been done many times, or similar styles of story, or used little taking bits off it and put it in something else. You know, like even because we're fans of Doctor Who, the Talons of Wing Chang.
Yeah, and then the I mean Two-Face, the Batman villain Two-Face, or the
Uh,
or even Batman because of the cowl.
yeah, yeah. It
And
you can in any, well, modern day, not even modern day, in the past 99 years, this I mean, I know I think there was a
this
movie
is
before this, a German silent movie, a few years before this version, but everybody seems to go back to this version as the ultimate and definitive of Phantom of
that
the
makes
Opera,
sense. That makes
uh,
sense.
um, because it's so atmospheric, without words, so atmospheric, just using the body actions, the facial movements, how they had to do it back then.
Right?
Um, before the talkies, before the talkies came and spoiled it all. Um, but yeah, and also as well, we've got to thank Lon Chaney Senior for Lon Chaney Junior. Without whom we wouldn't have had the Wolfman. Um,
Right. That's true.
uh, it runs in the family. Um, but yeah, it was a great movie, and also as well, they say this was 1925. This movie was roughly an hour and a half, 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
Back then, that was quite a long movie.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, just usually it was just short, wasn't it? You used to get, um,
Yeah,
but
what were the movies in the 30s? Like an hour
yeah, this
between
was
60 and 70 minutes?
this was about an hour 30,
Yeah,
but
this was quite nice. It was,
but it
but
didn't drag.
it takes a long time to tell the story because you have to
Yeah,
really put you have to put Carlotta in in you know in a position of incarceration, and then you have
Mhm.
to put, which is only fair because she's such a bitch, and then you have to put Christine in a whole lot of jeopardy, and you have to put Christine's paramours coming down after the Phantom, and I mean you
Mm.
just have to have all those long drawn out sort of chase and fight scenes or whatever.
I mean, that chase scene at the end of the movie where they sort of surround him at the river, is it near the River Seine,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of beat him to death
Mm-hmm.
and throw him in the water. That was that wasn't the original ending. As far as I remember reading, that the original ending was that the Phantom died of a broken heart. Apparently they filmed it, and you know where they have these
Oh.
previews. They have these
Yeah.
previews. The audience didn't really take to the ending,
Oh.
so they went, well, we'll change the ending, we'll kill him.
Oh.
But then I also, as well, I know for a fact this was such a success, they they had a sequel written where, for some reason, the Phantom survived all that and came back.
Amazing.
But I think Lon Chaney wasn't available or something like that, so they didn't do the sequel. But what they did instead was re-edit the movie, re-release it with sound back in
Yeah.
1929, 30s. So when the talkies were just setting off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a. I mean, I love all these. I mean, this is the only third. This is the third silent movie we've done now, and we did Nosferatu and we did Metropolis, and now we've done Phantom of the Opera. Three classics.
Yeah. I mean, and and being that this one was, two of the versions that I watched it with had some soundtrack. One had an organ soundtrack, and one had a sort of electronic soundtrack. And I just, the organ soundtrack really went over the top when he started playing the organ. And I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, it took my breath away. But then, and that's the way a lot of the musical push in these films was, is that the music would catch you up in it, and especially if they were using the music that they used to write the story,
Mm-hmm.
like they'd send like the reels and then maybe send like a, a score for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was interesting part of how they marketed the movies. But I just really loved, I love the fact that it didn't take, it didn't take a lot of external music to really affect the imagination of the internal music.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause-
the version I watched had when they were doing the opera on stage, it had opera singing.
oh, cool.
So, uh, yeah, as I say, it wasn't. That was mostly added on in 1920 or 30s or wherever. But it didn't take away from the silent movie theme. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it, also as well, I would like if people are watching it when people watch this, there is a movie by Lon Chaney which is like the holy grail of lost movies.
Oh,
Yeah, where he does his makeup thing again, This was 19 late 1920s, 27, 29, something like that. Um, and it was called London After Midnight.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
totally lost. No one's seen it since it first was, um,
Oh,
shown back in the day. Um, and
oh
it's one.
wow.
Apparently, it's one what fans really, really want to find. Like we Doctor Who fans want to find the missing episodes.
All the missing episodes. And
This
car yeah,
yeah,
Z cars
no,
also. Yeah, same.
but this movie is like that. It's one of these, you know, as I say, holy grail of movies where it's got such a story behind it. People want to see it, but they can't because it's not there. They've got some stills on the internet from the movie, but London After Midnight. Come on, guys, let's see if we can find it somewhere. It's it, but the stills from that movie, you see Lon Chaney with altering his face again. It's like his face is made of putty.
It is. It really is.
So what
It
you can,
says that in this Reddit, it says that the London After Midnight is a horror movie which had the famous silent era. The thing is, all of the copies were burned and destroyed. However, the whole script of the movie still exists, and a lot of images of the movie as well. The film has
yeah,
also made someone have visions of Lon Chaney's character in which lead him to murder.
yeah,
Overall, I think that the movie might still be out there because Metropolis 1927 was lost, and then later it was found in Argentina.
yeah.
Yep.
So there is hope, but but at least we've got the Phantom of the Opera to admire and watch. And when
My
you say
gosh.
Phantom of the Opera, when people say the Phantom of the Opera, they always picture change Cheney's visual features. It's so good that makeup. I always think if it's Phantom of the Opera, I always picture that character, and that's nearly 100 years old. That's how
Mm-hmm.
good it stood in in the media of horror movies. You know,
Yeah,
so long. Yeah.
I don't actually I did notice it there, you know, so it has inspired so many different kinds of things. I think it inspired Tim Burton's whole film history. Like everything was all that dark-eyed, gaunt face type stuff. But the Enter Lloyd Webber musical with the cutout face and uh, this distorted features on this side. That's the one that I always think of. But go on. I didn't mean
Well,
to interrupt.
the Andrew Lloyd Webber one was they found it difficult to have a full makeup for the artist to sing,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why they only did like a side of it, so that the
Uh-huh.
mouth could operate better.
Sure.
Um, but
Of course.
for me, it's always going to be this version of Phantom. As soon as I think Phantom of the Opera, that's the version I think of. But I always think of the musical because the songs are so good. But I never think of that version of the Phantom. It's always Lon Chaney.
Uh,
So,
see.
but yeah, is there anything else about Phantom of the Opera?
Um, yeah, I mean, it wasn't really gory, but they did have quite a lot of sort of fight scenes, and there just wasn't. I mean, there was like no blood, no. It was very, very surgically cut to not show anything too dramatic except for the distortion of his face.
Mm,
I thought that was really interesting. The whole thing could be carried on that that wonderful piece of
Well,
of
I think gore really came to the forefront in the movies through Hammer horror,
oh,
and
okay.
um, I don't think Universal and people like that back in the silent days and the classic Universal monster movies, there was any gore. It was
Hmm.
all it was all shadows and threats and done by ambience,
Hmm.
atmosphere. But I think the gore you've got to put down to the Hammer horror movies, which started in the what 50s.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but yeah, and also as well, the most probably wouldn't have been able to allowed to put do gore back then.
Okay.
Uh,
I didn't realize that. Like I just was noticing that the the beat down at the end was just like, it
mm,
just they when he got hit on one side, they'd roll him over to the other side. And, anyway, that was really interesting. And I did like, uh, uh, again, there was definitely like a class warfare kind of thing, being that the Phantom was not an aristocrat. He was a an amazing musician, but he was like one of the proletariat. And then there was all the entire opera going people, and everybody that's really shown in the movie are all aristocracy, except
mm,
for Christine and Carlotta. Those are the only
and
two, and one has to be a servant of the other. And so it was just a real, that was really like, it was one of those subtle digs that you know you get in sort of a movie of that kind of integrity and
I
stuff.
mean,
I just think it's fun.
I mean, in one of the versions of the movie, I know you do find out that Eric, the Phantom, is was disfigured from birth. Um,
Hmm.
that's not the version I watched. There wasn't an explanation why he was like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, uh, but in the version I watched, he was also an escaped criminal from an asylum from the criminally
yeah.
insane.
They did have that in that one movie. Yeah.
That's the movie I watched, and and you can tell he was unhinged.
Hmm.
Uh, well, that's what love does to you, I suppose.
Yeah.
Admiring from afar.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for a 1925 movie, I think it still stands up today. It,
Hmm.
yeah, you don't get the special effects. Yeah, you don't get the gore. Yeah, you don't get the nudity what you get these days. But it's a good, solid, well told story.
Yes.
Um, and for me, Lon Chaney, every time he's on the screen, he just steals it.
Yep. I
Anything
agree.
else before we go final score?
No, that's that. Yeah, we covered it all.
Right then, over to you.
Well, due to the fact that there are different versions of this story told, and the two that I watched had had amazing, amazing inertia, kept you going throughout. I, I will give, um, I'll give this nine. Let's see, nine chandeliers falling in the middle of the opera. out of 10. Oh,
Oh,
that was so much. It was so hard to watch that come down on the crowd. Just so many people died probably under that thing. Holy smokes.
I'm, I'm just looking here now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1925. It, it in the box office, it made 2 million. So back then, that's a hell of a lot.
Yeah, isn't that like if you multiply that times 1,000, that's what it
Yeah,
is now?
yeah,
So that's like
that,
$2 billion.
yeah. So back then, the box office it was 2 million it made.
Wow,
So it did well.
that's
And on
intense.
yeah,
Incredible.
so for me, it's a great atmospheric movie, classic villain, amazing makeup. Um, so for that reason alone, it's going to get a 10 gondolas out of 10 out, for me for the 1925 Phantom of the Opera. Uh, Big thumbs up to Lon Chaney. Um,
Yeah, the only reason I went down a point is because of the different versions of the story. I'm going to spend like the next, I guess, 6 weeks trying to find all those. And then the other thing is now that I know about the other one, the London After Midnight, what am I going to do? I'm going to spend the rest of my life obsessing over that as much as the Doctor Who missing episodes. That's creepy.
well,
Uh,
I know London After Midnight on YouTube. People have put the clips together, and just the stills and stuff like that, and tried to make
it's like a telesnap one. I know what that is, but like
yeah.
the important thing is to realize that London After Midnight will be dominating my thought process. But I just can't with these wonderful movies and TV shows that
Oh God,
were destroyed.
I've done it to you again, haven't I?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's true.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Right.
oh dear.
So that was our little review of the silent movie Phantom of the Opera. Um, you guys, I do recommend watching it if you haven't seen it before. It's there freely to watch on YouTube, all different versions of it. It's the same story, either version you watch. It's just a little bit added, a little bit taken out. So go out there and watch it. I recommend it. Let us know what you thought of it. Leave a comment below on this video.
Hmm.
You found this video on all the social media platforms because I share it about because I'm like that. And also, if you want to join us, be in one of these videos and join our group, leave a comment on the video. Let us know, and we'll try and get you in. All we ask is you being 18 plus, because certain things we really talk about are 18 rated. So 18 plus, all you need is a working camera and a working microphone on the device you use, and we'll try and get you on as soon as possible. Is that everything, Susan?
Uh,
Oh,
hit the bell
oh,
notification button.
yeah, the notification button on the YouTube, press it please, because then you'll get notified every time we put a video up. So that is it for now. Hope you've enjoyed talking about Phantom of the Opera, Susan.
Oh, definitely. It was gruesome and cool.
That's okay, because people don't realise this. I'm talking to a frozen screen. So
Frozen. Then the other thing is like we're in the middle of our Halloween spooky season, so I mean it's just so spooky and so fun.
so good. It's so fun. So, I mean, as I say, I like this group because we go from any era, any decade, any genre.
Hmm.
I mean, 1925 up to modern day. You know,
Hmm.
we Geeks Assembled are a time machine. We go back in time. We come to
Hmm.
present. You know, with the movies, the TV shows, even the audio dramas, what we talk about.
Yep.
Um, yeah, please get in touch with us. We need some new faces because you know me and Susan, we do get tired of each other sometimes.
Yeah. So like this weekend we're doing Phantom stuff, like
Yeah,
the Phantom of the Opera, and we're also doing the Battersea Poltergeist for an audio adventure. So anyway, just
yeah.
tune in for that one too. Thanks.
So yeah, so until next time, just listen out for the music of the night. Yes, that's the only singing you're gonna get off me, folks. Bye for
Mm.
now.